hello? What's this? You're doing an intro at the beginning of the video? You never do that. There's a lot of things I don't do. I'm very new to this. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm here anyway. I wanted to just quick say, first off, thank you to everyone. But also, I wanted to let you all know that this is going to be part one of a two-part series because the recording with Eric was about 2.5 hours long. And I didn't think a 2.5 hour long episode would be good for this, like the infancy of this podcast, because most episodes are like 30 minutes to an hour, maybe at the most, give or take. So I figured I'd try to cut it down into a two-parter. So if you're wondering why I'm here in the beginning, that's why. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to get off camera and let you enjoy this episode of the podcast with Eric Novroski. It's part one.
There's a weird, blue hue to everything, and... Whoa. That's not what I wanted. But whatever. I mean, I don't even care.
Yeah, I don't care,
dude.
We don't care about it. We don't care here.
I don't even care, dude. I'm gonna crack open a cold one for this.
Oh, yeah? What are you cracking open? You cracking open a nice... Oh, you got a Coke? I got a nice Sprite cranberry. I did that in the intro for the last one I just did. Right in front of the mic.
Some people call that a spranberry.
I've never heard spranberry before, and I don't know how I feel about that word.
You've never seen the new studio, have you?
I haven't seen it finished. But
When were you here last?
It's when we did the Lonely EP. You were working on it, but it was the control room was getting.
We didn't track anything here,
No, we didn't track anything there. No, but it's when you were still building it. I think you just put drywall in and everything.
Hey, check 1 2. Check.
Beautiful.
Is that cool?
Yes. Sounds good. Yeah.
You sure? That's not too loud?
No, you're good.
Sick. That's really cool. I'm running through a preamp that has compression on it. So I'm able to slap some compression on my voice.
Are you going to throw in some effects and everything? You're going to say something really profound and then just put some reverb on it?
Dude.
What do you got now?
Hold on. What? My keyboard isn't working. Fudge.
Crap. If it's not one thing, it's another. Oh my god. Yeah. Say something really really deep and profound. Or just tell me that you're my father. Or just say something silly like, I pooped myself. Oh my god.
John Shackleton.
Huh?
I have hemorrhoids.
What an intro. That's fantastic.
That's so freaking cool. I can do so much. I'm about to demolish my computer. You ready?
Yes.
John Shackleton.
Are you in auto-tune right now?
Yeah.
Oh, the only preamp I have is the Gojira Neural DSP plugin, and I'm too afraid to see what my voice sounds like through that. It's just going to be the waveform is just going to be a block.
John Shackleton.
This is so... Oh, this is amazing. Can you say shoddy?
Shoddy!
Oh, God. Wow. Fantastic. Fantastic intro, everyone. Welcome to the Silly Goofy Podcast. We're totally serious here. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you for that.
I'll take it off.
Oh, no, yeah. So, cars, huh? Cars.
Yeah, dude, V6.
Big wheels. Cargo honk.
V4s, dude. V2s?
Oh God.
I don't even know if they have a car that's a V2.
I don't know. This is just what this is gonna be. Pretty much. I'm pretty sure it's just gonna be us just being actually silly goofy. I love it.
And me being white as a ghost.
If you're watching the video, it's because the room is white and everything. If you're only hearing audio, then this doesn't make sense to you, but it's fine.
If you're only hearing audio, then Sade.
Fantastic. Oh God, what preamp? You said you're going through a preamp or something?
Yeah, I'm running through an SSL 6. It's called the 6 channel. It's actually relatively cheap, but it's a 500 series, so you have to have a lunchbox to make it work. But it is a 2-band EQ, the pre obviously, and I think a 2-to-1 compression.
Nice.
With just like preset attack and release times.
I know what that means.
No, it's actually they're really sick for the price. At I think they're $300, which is like not bad for a pre, because I mean I have a couple pre's that are like close to 1,000.
Oof,
dude, don't be a studio engineer.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, my guest today for this episode, Eric Novroski. Why don't you say hello and what you do? You know, don't be modest either. Go down the list of all the things you do.
Oh, okay. My name is Eric Novroski, and I'm mostly a record producer, I guess. I own a recording studio, which I'm sitting in now with my son's pack and play next to me, because I mix with him now.
That's so cute.
It is adorable, but he usually gets really angry and then just wants to leave. So, I mean, there's only so much you could take in the same 3 seconds.
Sucks.
Sucks. Work on it, Dad. I'll be back.
I just think of the baby from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where he's just like walking away all angry, smoking a cigar. He's like, "I'm gonna be at my trailer," and he's a little baby. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
If I catch my son smoking a cigar,
I would be angry for you.
He's 9 months. Can barely hold his macaroni and cheese.
Me neither.
Yes. So I am a record producer from Novro Studios. My wife and I run, I guess, the company together. She's a videographer. She shoots music videos. She's amazing. She shoots a lot for my bands, which is a good segue into my bands.
Many.
Just two right now.
Yeah.
I fill in and I help a lot. Nowhere as much as Tom Towner did or does, but
God.
I play drums in a band called So Much Hope Buried, and I play bass in a band called Toothless. And Sarah usually makes music videos for said bands, as well as many other people. She's killer.
Yeah, she's done. She's done a lot of videos for like, oh God, what was the Traverse the Abyss? Is that one?
Oh yeah, she did.
Like Traverse
3?
the Abyss, Flying. Did she do for Flying Formation as well?
Yeah, she's actually, as we're shooting this, she's in the middle of doing 4 for them. Yeah.
Dang. Wow.
Yeah, and
go Sarah.
And under the radar, I guess, low key, she's gonna be doing a music video for every single song off of the new So Much Hope Buried record.
Wow, that's pretty intense. That's awesome.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it seems it. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's killing it right now. She's full-time mom, full-time videographer, full-time everything.
Full-time, just killing it.
Yeah, full-time, just killing it.
Yeah, that's great. That kind of. So you were talking about the bands and everything. That kind of brings me into my first question. Why are you so good at everything that you do?
No, that's not true. If you have me work on a car,
cars,
I can't.
Big wheels,
or building this place. I am not a builder by any means. The people who basically built this place were my dad did all the electric, so outlets and stuff. My brother-in-law and my grandfather-in-law built the framing. They did flooring. My father-in-law, I would say, did 80% of this whole place.
Oh my god.
Seriously, he must have. And it's funny because every time I talk to him about it, he's like, "Oh, I didn't put in that much work." I was like, "Dave,
Dave, please."
You are the reason that I'm a functioning studio." So he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna leave you to do the trim work and some like the cosmetic stuff."
Mm-hmm.
And that was maybe 2 years ago.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. So.
And guess what's not done? The trim work and the cosmetics.
Well, you got your work cut out for you. No, that's perfect. That kind of like, I had a question about the studio like later on, but this is a perfect segue into it. So,
yeah.
Let's talk about the studio.
Please.
Yeah. So you have it. It was originally just you, right? Like it was originally just you when you first started doing it and everything, but now you run it with your wife as well. How different is it? Well, first off, I want to like know a little bit about the studio, like when you started doing it, and like how different is it running it by yourself as opposed to running it with her,
with my wife.
Yeah. Well, you also have like Andrew helping out too, right? Like he's kind of like, is he interning or is he like straight up in?
No, funny enough, I just had an intern. His name was also Andrew. But
wow.
But I know, right? I only
they have to
work
fight.
With
They have to fight
here.
for the title of actual Andrew.
Yeah, actual Andrew. Well, I only work with Andrew, so if your name is not Andrew, I won't work with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna change mine before we go there, so we'll be fine.
So let's see. I started this in my parents' basement by myself, just trying to record my own bands, and I ended up recording my own projects, realizing that I'm kind of more into recording and mixing and mastering than I was almost even into the bands.
Okay.
And I don't get me wrong, I adore playing. Mm-hmm. I will always play. I will always be in bands. I love it to death. But for some reason, my brain just kind of obsesses over this kind of stuff,
like the little things that you could do or whatever.
Yeah, just like mixing and mastering, and how can I make it sound better and whatnot. And like, I'm a total nerd. So when someone talks to me about gear, I can just go off and just talk about gear and, whatever, and preamps. And I mean, dude, it gets so bad. I'll wake up at 3 a.m. to Elliot screaming, and I have to go change his diaper. And the first thing on my mind is like preamps and patch bays. And I'll wake up and my brain will be like, baby's crying. I wonder what would happen if I plugged this into that. And that was actually a moment where I was thinking, what is wrong with me? I was like, why am I doing this? Why do I think this? But yeah, so I figured out that I enjoyed this so much when I was younger that I was like, I just kind of want to do that.
Yeah.
But at the time, I did not believe that it was possible to make a career out of it. So, I mean, you hear it from so many people like, oh, like you can't, you'll never really be able to do that. Like you're located in northeastern Pennsylvania, you got to go to Nashville. You want to be a record producer, you got to go to Nashville.
There's always some place like you want to do X, you got to go somewhere that's 1,000 miles away kind of thing.
Right. And I always like, everybody says the grass is always greener, right? And I heard this saying recently, and this is like my favorite saying now ever. And if the grass is greener on the other side, then maybe you should water your lawn.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
like where you're at, focus on it and put care and effort into where you're at.
Yeah,
water
that can also go into a lawn. Yeah,
yeah. So, and that quote was based around marriage. That somebody said that, but I think that applies to many different places.
Mm-hmm.
If you think, well, it would be so much better if I was in Nashville. Well, what about your area or whatever that is so bad?
Yeah.
And what about working on that and working on your own communities? And honestly, Sarah and I are not going to leave Northeast PA. I don't care how
Good, please don't,
big.
Cause
yeah. Like how big or small this entity, of Novro Studios gets. I want to be here. I want to be where my family is.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've got a child now, and I've got nieces, and you know, and we just want to be where our family is. So
Yeah.
we decided, well, forget about moving anywhere, forget about going to Nashville, forget about this. Let's make it work. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it took too long. It took too long for me to get there. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really start pushing for the studio until maybe 25 years old, I think. And in a month I'll be 30.
I was just about to ask, how old do you know? But okay.
Yeah. So 29 in January, I'll be 30.
When's your birthday in January, if you don't mind me asking?
26th.
Oh, okay. So it's not going to be when we're there. All right.
We'll get there. But
Eric,
you
please.
can be if you want to hang out for my birthday.
I'll try.
But yeah, so that maybe took me too long to figure out, but I think once I figured it out and truthfully believed in myself and in those who are around me who want to help and realize like, oh, this is totally possible to make a career out of it, I was just gung ho.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I was not even dating Sarah, my wife.
My wife. We're glad we were both on the same page there.
And I remember so Sarah and I knew each other for 5 years, I think, before we started dating. So by the time I ended up quitting my job, I ended up touring pretty heavily when I joined Tala.
I was going to say, was that Tala? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I toured a lot with Tala. That was awesome. That was I was in the band for a year, and that was such a wonderful year, wonderful experience. I have nothing but great things to say. Obviously, I'm not in the band anymore. I ended up kind of mutually splitting, but no bad blood at all. Like I still talk to them, and I still love everybody there and
Nice.
whatnot. But yeah, I just think like a lot of it came down to like, what do you really want to do in life, and so on and so forth, and whatever. We won't get into that, but so then I ended up I was still in Tala when I started dating Sarah, but even at that point I was like, hey, we started talking again, and I said, I want the studio, and that is my goal. So if your path is in parallel with mine and we can work together, then that's wonderful. But if it's not, then like this relationship is not going to work. Basically. And she was like, no, I can get down with that. That's sick.
Nice.
And
we love that. We love a supportive girlfriend.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. And we talked before we were even dating, we talked about this kind of stuff. And before we really started dating, we talked about, do you ever want to be married? Do you ever want kids? Do you ever, can you get down with all this? So by the time we officially started dating, it wasn't like, oh, I was getting to know her. I was getting to,
Gotcha.
We knew each other. Like I said, we knew each other for 5 years at that point. So I was like, all right, fine. I'm full bore. I'm going for the studio.
Nice.
And that's, that's what's happening. And like I said, I think it was a little bit not too late, but I think it was a little later than I would have liked to. I kind of wish I came to that conclusion when I was, early 20s. But it is what it is. So here we are. And we ended up pushing and pushing and pushing. And then we got married, moved in together. Studio was still in my parents' basement. Which
did you guys not live together until you were married?
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. So we didn't move in until we got married. So we get married, move in. I'm still commuting to my parents' house for work. And I was like, this sucks. I was like, this is terrible. And as you remember, if you recall my parents' house, I would have to take apart that one room to put a drum set in.
Oh, and that's right. Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the sound of that room wasn't great. I mean, it was an untreated, all wood and glass, room.
Yeah.
It had, wood flooring.
I mean, I still think it sounded great. But I mean,
Well,
you're also yeah, you're welcome. But I mean, like you're also an audio engineer, so I'm sure you have like specific like because I know that I nitpick everything that I do or anything that I'm involved in. I'm like, oh, this could be like just a little different kind of thing. So I'm sure you have something similar about that in like a room like that versus your actual studio and everything.
I have a maybe a character flaw for myself.
Okay.
Where I once I finish a project and I give it to the band and everybody's happy, I will never listen to it again. Because I listen to it back and I'm like, I hate it. It sucks. I'm so much better than this. I can't believe this band came to me. I'm a failure.
Oh, gotcha.
And I kind of I go down this like terrible imposter syndrome sort of path.
Yeah.
Path. And I just decided that it was probably healthier for me to not do that.
Okay, I mean that's fair. Yeah.
So now at this point, I just I don't think I've not overcome imposter syndrome or whatever, but I guess learned how to manage it better,
like cope with it better and everything. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I think the definition, if I was to say like overcome it, would be like it doesn't happen anymore. Like I don't feel that way, but I can't, and like there's projects where I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds phenomenal, like I'm so much better than I was. Give it to the band, everybody's stoked, and a month later I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I did that to those people. Like it sounds terrible,
No, I get it. Yeah,
it's just a personal thing.
That's
and I think if I did a terrible job, I wouldn't be able to have my own studio.
Yeah,
and
well, I mean, like it seems like you and Sarah, like it seems like you're doing pretty well. Like you guys seem like, I mean, everything that I've been involved in with. Granted, I've only done like 2 or 3 things, technically 3, because Guilt and Bloom, Head Splitter technically did like 2 songs there, or whatever, and then we ended up just like redoing everything as Guilt and Bloom, and then we did the 2 other songs. But everything that I've been involved with there, like, sounds phenomenal. And, like, every time it just gets better. At least for me.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
And it's kind of that obsessive attitude where I'm just like, it's got to be better. 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 And I think that attitude will carry me to just keep pushing myself to get better. But, the other side of that pendulum is oh, I'm terrible. I'm so bad. And, like, you have to keep that. You kind of have to keep that in check.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't go back and listen to anything that I've ever worked on, because it's
probably hard. Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah. It's just, and maybe one day I won't feel that way anymore. But I guess like kind of as of this point, I'm like, oh no, I could do so much better. So actually, yeah, it's
well, because you sent me. No, I get it. Trust me. I do this. I feel like I do the same thing, like with just with demos. I like obsessively think about like demos, and like I'll like do a demo and I'm like, cool. I'll listen back to it and I'm like, oh man, this guitar take sounds awful. This guitar take sounds awful. I need to redo it.
So
oh god, I'm gonna switch these 2 notes because they don't flow right. Just like little things like that. And like it's obviously, and that's just like a demo, but like but it's it's hard to get past that, like trying to make everything perfect, because even Evie can vouch for this. Like even when we got the songs back from you and you were saying like, hey, listen to the song, see if there's anything that you need, that you want to like change or whatever, like that, any demo that I've done, she will attest to the fact that like I obsessively just listen nonstop, and I'm like every little thing, I'm like, that could be better, that's fine, this could be different, kind of thing. Yeah, but I think you I think you recently sent me something. You were like, yeah, this is something that like one of the first things I recorded, and you were like, yeah, I just kind of been like thinking about like what I've done better and like how far I've come, kind of thing. And I was like, even that, I was like, this still sounds pretty friggin' cool. Like this still sounds good. But you were like, yeah, you were like, this isn't a band anymore, so it's fine. But I feel like I could have done this so much better, kind of thing. But
I'll go back to your original. I kind of went off a tangent there.
No, it's okay. That's all I do. It's fine.
What your original question was, which is how the studio runs by myself versus with my wife.
Yes.
My wife and I are very, I guess, separate, because I do audio, she does video. Now our company runs together, and she has me handle usually anything monetary.
Mhm.
So, a client pays for a video or whatever like that almost always goes through me, and she can keeps her hands in just the creative aspect of it. I will be there to shoot and help shoot videos, just because obviously having a second cameraman is extremely helpful.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I don't do anything. She's the boss. She's the leader. She knows what's, and she's the professional.
She's got knowledge.
Yeah. So I just let a professional work. I just let her do her thing. So we go on we go on shoots together, and I say, what do you need me to do?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I need you to get B-roll. I need you to get slow-mo. I need you to do whatever. Or just like, I'm just a pack mule. I mean, there are times where I've gone on shoots and I just didn't shoot at all. And she's like, just carry this light around. I was like, I got you.
Yeah.
Because that's her thing. And she needs to, be the leader and the boss of that. Like, I'm not here to, and she obviously knows more than me. So I'm not going to pretend like I know more than her. So she, I take a very big backseat, and I feel bad sometimes because she asks me like, oh, she's working on a video and she's like coloring it. And she's like, oh, well, what do you think of this coloring? And I was like, it looks great. She goes, this is before I colored it. I was like, okay. And then she colors it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that looks way better. Like my eyes, I don't have that kind of like creative mind.
Yeah.
Where, how, like, I guess for me, if I listen to something and I was like, oh, this could be EQ'd differently or better, or whatever,
like different.
And some people are like, I don't even know how I would, what that, how do you EQ it? Like, no, it sounds good to me. And then you EQ it and they're like, wow, now it sounds better.
Yeah.
I didn't know it could sound better, but it does. That's what I feel like I am with video.
Yeah.
Where I was like, yeah, color looks great. And then she colors it. I'm like, whoa, that looks so much better. So, she's got the eye. She's really artistic, and she's definitely more of a visual artist, and she has a skill with drawing too. She makes these little like noodle characters. I don't know if you ever see it, but
yes, I have. Yeah, they're very cute.
She made
I like them.
Like me and her as like the little noodles, and she made me, and she made Toothless, and she made So Much Hope, and it's just sick.
Yeah,
but so yeah, really, like, even though the business is like together and we like run the business together, I usually just handle the back end, handle the finances, handle the taxes, handle whatever kind of not fun stuff is there, and then leave her to just be the professional video engineer, or I'm sorry, videographer. When it comes to audio, she isn't really a part of what happens back here, but she engineered the session for the new So Much Hope record when I was playing drums.
That's cool.
Because I was like, well, we don't have any time to do this. And I don't know who, like a lot of times, usually I get Travis, from Toothless. But he's got a full-time job, so he works during the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't do this. I can't do this at night. I can't do this here. Like the only time to do it was like, I don't know, like in the middle of the day, and Travis couldn't make it. So I was like, well, Sarah, you're on board. I'll teach you how to help. So she
press space and then you press R and you're good.
Yeah. She's literally sitting here with Elliot,
Oh.
just like, and I'm just like, okay, go back to here, do it again. I gotta redo that part. We got to there's a blast beat section in the new record, and
Nice.
I was just like, do it again, do it again, do it again.
We love
it was
a good
like 100
blast beat.
times. I was like,
Oh,
go back,
jeez.
go back. Yeah, because it's like a 200 BPM blast, and like,
Oh god.
it's tough.
Was it like difficult having to like explain what to do in like a short amount of time for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, 100%. And like actually the night before we were like scheduled, because like our whole life is so scheduled now with the baby. We were like, okay, this is the day from this to this time is when we're going to do it. Like the night before we're sitting in the studio, and I'm like, okay, this is how you hit play. This is how you arm a track. This is what arming a track even means. Here's how you move around the timeline. Here's how you go back. And it definitely, it took a longer amount of time, but we busted out all the tracks in 5 hours.
Wow.
And
how many tracks was it?
There's 8 full songs and 2 like sort of interlude intro thing.
Okay.
One's an intro, one is a little interlude, but it kind of like, I absolutely adore this song. It blends into the last song, so it's kind of like one much longer song.
Oh,
but
okay, that's cool.
It's gonna be 2 on the record, and yeah. I mean, I told her I came in and I was like, I know my parts. I know exactly what needs to be played. I mean, this stuff is written.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I know this is where this fill goes. This is how I play it. You know, I prepped so much before, so there was a lot of weight off of like Sarah's shoulders, and I just had to kind of take over that brain for myself to be like, okay, did I hit this hard enough? Did I do whatever? Like, was I close? Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, that's kind of the most that she's ever dabbled in my side
Okay.
of the business. But really, like running the business together is not bad at all.
That's
and
good.
we hold each other accountable. And honestly, half the time, like we don't even need to hold each other accountable. You know, I mean, because when you have projects, it's over your head. Like it weighs over your head, and you're just like, I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. I've got to get it done. So she doesn't need me to be like, hey, you've got
Make sure
work
you
to
do this. Yeah.
Yeah. Like she doesn't need a micromanager. She's like, I have so much work to do,
Yeah.
and I have a baby. Please, someone help.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah. So really, like it's so easy. It's so easy to like be in business together, even though I know for others it's not easy.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that you guys have that like obviously like, you know, you're married, you love each other, you know, obviously, but like it's also good that you have that as well as like the professional side of the business.
Yeah,
where like you can like do the professional, like your professional stuff.
For sure.
I sound great right now. Like the professional things that you need to do like for the business and everything. It's great that you like have that, like you're able to do that while also still like being married. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how to describe that, but yeah.
Trying to keep the work life balance when your work and life are just so together.
Yeah, like tied in together. Yeah.
You know, like I don't leave for a job. The studio is behind the house.
Yeah.
You know, it's 80. It's literally 80 feet from my house.
How many steps does it take? No.
I mean, on a good day.
If I'm feeling good, it's only a few. If I'm sluggish, then it takes like a lot. No, I don't know. No, you were talking about like being like the pack mule and everything. That reminded me. Honestly, like seeing like you and Sarah do stuff for like Novro Studios, it made me think like I'd love to do something like I would love to do something like that with Evie, like because she does photography and stuff. She's very good at it, but she just doesn't really get to do it. She just doesn't really get to do it as much as she would like to. But there was one time she was doing a shoot for a friend of ours, Jay. You know, Jay and their wife. They were doing they were just doing like a cute couple shoot. And they paid Evie to do it, so that was cool. But I remember like I didn't really have anything to do. Like I was there to like help and hang out or whatever, but like I didn't really have much to do. So I literally was just like holding on to like her photography backpack and her purse, and we were doing this thing, or not we. She was doing this thing where she like wanted to. They were taking like a cute picture, and she was like, "I feel like it would be really cute to have like leaves falling or whatever." So like I have on her photography backpack and holding her purse, and I'm literally just gathering leaves on the ground to be like, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. Tell me when. And then she like took the like right before she took it, I threw them up in the air and I ran away so I wasn't in the frame. But yeah, like stuff awesome. Like that. I was like, I would love to do stuff like that more.
That's awesome. And dude, I'm such like a firm believer in if she wanted to be a professional photographer for a living, there's no reason she can't.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely no reason. Like, you know, it's hard.
Oh yeah, it'll take some time because like, you know, because you've been doing the studio for like what, like 7 years or whatnot.
I mean, technically a lot longer. Like I've been recording since I was like 13.
That's right.
But I mean, really, I don't know. I think my first paying client I was 18.
Really? Wow. Good for you.
Yeah. So like, I mean, it was.
I've been on that grind since I was 18. No.
Yeah, I think my first paying client paid me $25 per song.
Oh wow, that's not bad.
And we did a record of 11 songs.
Oh great, now I got to do math.
One was a bonus track. It was like $200.
Oh okay.
So
that
like,
math adds up to me. It's fine.
You know, I'm 18 years old, and I mean, even at that, like even when I was 18, $200 is nothing.
Yeah.
So, you know, so that was like the foot in the door to be like, okay, someone is willing to pay me at least something.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and you know, honestly, I listened back to the record, and it's, you know, maybe not the best.
Well, I mean, you were also 18, so
yeah, you know, and you're
that's that imposter syndrome coming back. Knock it off, Eric.
I mean, I still look fondly on that album just because it was like the first time.
Yeah, there's like the sentimental value to it and everything.
I have it. You know, disc makers will make you like a frame with like the disc and also like the album art or something.
Oh yeah.
It's like a plaque. I have that plaque
really?
of the first record. Yeah, and honestly, like, I should probably put it up in the studio. And like the only thing holding me back is the fact that like the record doesn't sound good. But I don't know. There's just something like something cool to just be like, oh, that was the first thing I've ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah, like get like an engraved thing on it, like the little golden thing. It's like first record ever recorded.
Yep. That one just literally says it's like the guy's name and like the album title.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or whatever.
Well, that's still pretty cool though. That's really cool.
Yeah, but I got it, and
yeah, you have a plaque. That's amazing.
I should probably put it up just because I think it's cool. And right now the studio looks kind of cold and empty. I want to put some fake plants back here. You know.
Yes, I've been
wanting
to get plants and stuff in here
because I ain't watering nothing.
Dude, we have. Okay, I'm saying have. We had a few plants. Like Evie had this app that told you, like, you put in what kind of plant it was, like how close it was to sunlight and everything. Like she really went all out. And we had this one plant that like I kind of just started to like take over watering it and everything. I don't know what kind it was, but it was in like a black vase. It was like a purple plant or whatever. It looked really cool. You can name the different plants and everything. We had like a majesty palm tree that she named Your Majesty. That one
Steve.
purple plant Steve. That one purple plant in like the black vase, we called it Goth Bitch. Because it was in a black, just like a black goth looking thing. I don't know. But yeah, like she went all out, and like no matter what we did on except one occasion, they just kept dying. Like we were trying to water them and everything. They were doing okay, but then they did all eventually die. Yeah. However, there is one time where I was watering like my plant, the goth plant, I'll say. I was watering that, but it was with water that Evie did something with. Essentially, I was watering the plant, and I was like, wow, this plant looks horrible. Why? Like, I've been watering it. What's going on? It was water. It was salt water. And I didn't realize it until like 2 or 3 days later. So I repotted that. I repotted the entire plant. Like I took it out. I had to like delicately I took a pen cap and I was like delicately like taking like soil out from around the roots and everything, taking them out, placing them on like a paper towel, getting new like soil in there and everything. I tried. It was alive for a little while after that, but then it just started to die again, and I was like, you know what? You've run your course. You're on borrowed time as it is.
It's over.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so plants in the studio kind of segues into another question I had. So as you talked about this a little bit in your podcast, because Eric has his own podcast called Mixing Mindsets. Check that out. I was on there once. You mentioned it. In one of the, I think it was like one of the earlier episodes, but I kind of just want to talk to you about it a little bit more, just to get like a more in-depth answer. But like, what are some like things that people do when they go to a studio? Like, what should they expect when they go in? Like do's and don'ts. Yeah. What can bands or artists do to make the recording process, going into the studio, making the process as easy and painless as possible.
I probably said this in my podcast, and I would say this until I'm blue in the face. Know how to play to a click.
Yes. I remember
the click track is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to play to a click, so like, and especially so I can grid it, and obviously it depends what kind of music you're working on, but like if we were doing something like Guilt and Bloom, like that can't not be gridded.
Yeah.
Like every chug, every hit needs to be on time, right?
Oh god, those 16th notes, like yeah. Like I remember doing like the demo and everything, and I was like, I feel like I got this decent, and then I was there, and I was like, wow, I am not doing this good.
Yeah, and prepping your parts, knowing what you're playing, when you're playing it, and then I think as like a prep work for yourself, really critically analyzing if you're doing it right. And I know that sounds silly because, you could be like, yeah, I know how to play this part, but really, and I had a personal experience with that when I was recording the first So Much Hope Buried EP, the one when we were a metal band. No longer a metal band.
Yeah,
not a metal band anymore. But when we were a metal band, and we had these blast beats, dude, they kicked my butt.
Yeah, I believe.
And I was like,
blast beats are just hard.
I was like, I could play blasts. I know what I'm doing. And then Travis is engineering it, and he's like, it's just like it's not working, dude. And it was a struggle. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I swore going into this, like I know these parts. It was the same thing. Like I wrote quotes.
Yeah.
I wrote the parts. I knew fills needed to go here. I knew this. And then he's like, dude, your left foot is like not hitting. It's not hitting hard enough. Or all of a sudden your left hand, as you're trying to do a like a ride blast, your left hand is just not hitting that 30-second note or whatever, that 16, 30 second. It's falling off, it's falling behind, or whatever. And that was the moment where I was like, oh crap, I'm not as good as I think I am. And to be humble enough to do that is, I think, really, 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 really important.
Yeah.
And if you have the luxury of being able to like demo or something, like put a click track on, demo something out, and zoom in and look and be like, like if you're playing a guitar part, then are your notes on grid?
Yeah.
Are your notes dynamically where they need to be? And that's like, especially with drummers, man, even if you are on grid, are you hitting hard? Are you or soft, or the way that it needs to be hit? So many people, they come and they're like, well, we're a metal band. It needs to, this is a beat down part. It needs to be dun 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 dun, and like if
big old dings.
If you're going, like if you're like bing, beep, 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 like
if it's all finger and not wrist or whatever, then you could probably tell the difference with that.
Like it doesn't come through, and then they're like, like this part like isn't like slamming like the way it should. And I'm like, well, you gotta play it the way you should. I was like, at this point we should just like program your drums, but then that's another ego check.
Yeah.
Because someone's like, no, I'm not programming drums. I know how to play them. And then you realize that 90% of records are like just re-triggered anyways, resampled. I mean, regardless.
Yeah.
Like really sitting down and critically analyze, like, okay, I have this part. Maybe it's a blast beat. Is my left hand catching up? And there was a moment for me when my blasts started like clicking for me, like in my brain, and I started actually getting it tight. My right hand and my feet were lining up. My left hand was lining up the way it needed to be. And dude, in the room live, it just sounded so much better.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like this is it.
Yeah.
This is what needs to happen. So, and then I recorded myself and I looked at my left foot. Was my left foot hitting as hard as my right foot? Was there consistency there? And it wasn't. It was absolutely not. It was like right foot waveform, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. Naturally, like if you're a right-handed drummer, your right foot is going to be stronger.
Yeah.
So, really being humble with it, playing to a click and being like, am I good? Am I good enough to do this? And if you're not good enough to do this, or can you take that humility a step further to either let somebody else in the room play it or change the part? And to be honest, I think if somebody in the room can play it, they should. And I really think that if you can't do it and somebody else can, let them do it and then be like, I need to work towards that.
Yeah. I feel like I've been involved in something like that before, where like I couldn't do something like guitar wise or drum wise or whatever, and then someone else had to do it for me, and I was like, yeah, this is embarrassing because like I wrote these parts and I'm supposed to be able to play them, but like I just can't do it good right now. So like this person can, it's, you just got to take it in stride and everything. But it is.
I think when you're with the right people, and you have either a producer or an engineer who is not a jerk, like that embarrassment feeling isn't so bad. Because like for me and my clients, when they come to work with me, I don't want, obviously I'm not here to embarrass you, but I'm here to see you better. And one of my favorite things is when somebody asks me, like, how can I do this? How can I be a better musician? Like what about this? And when I have repeat clients who I notice come back and are better, that is so exciting. It's like, so I recently did a band. I didn't mix or master the record. I just tracked them, but almost every time that they came in, it was like, okay, what was the weakest part here? And how can we work on to get that better? And honestly, I don't care if you are like not that great of a musician or an unbelievable musician. That mindset should stay with you forever. And it's more exciting for me to find someone who's, technically not as skilled, who has that mindset, than someone who is more skilled but is like, I'm the best.
Yeah. It's like I can do it. It's
or
fine,
whatever
kind of thing.
And one of the bands that I work with very heavily, and you mentioned them, is Fly Information. Those guys are on a whole other level of ability.
They seem it.
Like I have a difficult time comprehending what the heck they're doing, and every single time that they're like, they were in the room with me or together, they're talking about who's better than them and how they're looking up to them. And how they're trying to get there, and you can easily look at all of them and be like, these guys are so good.
Yeah, I've done that. I've seen videos you posted, and I've been like, these guys shred. They're so good.
Yeah, and like, Nathan, who is their drummer. Oh my gosh, Nathan is scary. He is so scary talented, and I'm like, I play the drums. And when he's in the room, I'm like, yeah, I'm not really a drummer.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
that's how I felt whenever I was around Tom Towner. No.
Yeah. And Nathan's attitude is always like, how am I going to get better? Look at this guy. Look at like someone who's better than me. And I'm just like, that's so respectable because you are leagues beyond most people.
Yeah. No,
so like I think keeping that mindset will help you throughout not only the recording process but like your whole life.
Yeah.
And then so click track, that mindset of just like a humbling mindset will seriously help you. And then like, I hate always, talking about basically money, but I think if you over budget, you're seriously going to help yourself in the long run. So if you say we have
X amount of money or whatever.
Yeah, like setting your expectations right. So if you say we want to do a single, right? It's like we can bust it out in a day. Maybe you can bust it out in a day, and maybe that's really all you needed. But if you budgeted for 2 and something happens, you're like, okay, we got it. Because I mean, I can't tell you how many times somebody has come in and then got tripped up on a part.
It's happened to me. It's happened to me before when I was recording drums.
You know, and they think you think like, no, I've got this. I mean, dude, it happens to me. Yeah. I'm like, no, I know this record. I can play this record inside and out. And then I get to the recording process. I was like, I don't know this record.
Yeah, there was like an old Lilac Night song. I don't remember. Oh yeah, it was like this was so we recorded. Lilac Night recorded Something Meaningful at Nada Recording Studios. I think it was John McLaren. I think his name is. Mm-hmm. He's recorded like he did I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love by My Chemical Romance. He did I think he did Deja Intendo. Like he's done some pretty like big like records and everything. Notable. I got to play on the drum set for the Polar Bear Club, I think it was. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's what the drums on that record were on that drum set. But there's a really simple, I mean I guess simple, but like relatively simple part in a song where it's literally just like a rack tom to snare, but faster, like back into a 2-step beat. I could not, for the life of me, get that part down, and I was like, "How can I not get this simple? Like, just roll. How can I not get this part down?" When like the next song we played or that we recorded was like the most complicated thing I've ever done on drums, and I was like, "This one's so much easier. How am I doing this one?" You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Yeah. But it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, you get tripped up on parts. So, like, I think if you kind of over budget a little bit, when that happens, and I guess it's probably going to happen inevitably at some point if you're going to, pursue music as a career, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, if you say, hey, we budgeted for 1 day and that's all we have, and then that day's over and you're unsatisfied with your performance or whatever, things suffer from it, and you're like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
And then you almost kind of wasted the day because all you needed was like another day or whatever to just kind of iron some things out.
It's like when we were recording the And record with you, Jay got like 6.5 out of 8 songs done vocally before it was noticeable that their voice was kind of going.
Yeah, and that's like, it's not easy to scream for that long.
Yeah. And
it's
like
very difficult.
Yeah. But like we had like you were gracious enough, very very kind. Again, thank you for this. But like you were gracious enough to be like, "Look, I'll give you guys it's only like a song and a half left. We can get that done quick. Like I'll give you an extra like 2 hours on the house tomorrow just because we're so close and I know you can do it. Like I don't want you to like I remember you saying you were like, we could keep pushing tonight, but I don't want you to like wreck your voice and not have these songs come out the way that you want, like how they should be coming out. You know what I mean? So you let us do like an extra, like I think we only needed like an hour or an hour and a half or whatever. But you were like, I'll give you some time tomorrow morning, and
you come in fresh.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're like rest your voice, come in fresh tomorrow, and we did it, and it really helped. So again, thanks.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Like 100%. So like, prep, you basically like, what's that saying? You, prep for the worst, but
hope for the best. Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of thing. It happens to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. You might think you're prepared and you go in and you're like, maybe I'm not, or you go in and everything's great and you're prepared and you kill it. And you go, and and now your expectations are set, so you're not mentally beat down by it, because if you said, well, we budgeted for 2 days, we hope to get it done in 1, but then it comes up and 2 days goes by and you're like, okay, well, that's fine, we budgeted for 2. Or if you're like, all right, well, we're going to get it done in 1 and it took you 2 and you thought you were going to get it done in 1 and you only planned for that, then you're going to be like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
And then you're like super upset about it. And like, I hate being like a part of that. And like that kind of, like I want people to come here for it to kind of be like a vacation.
Yeah.
I try to provide as much of a release from the world to be like, when we're in here, like we're enjoying the music, we're having fun, you know, and especially like if you took off time, work, like, you know, people do that all the time. They'll literally take their, you know, vacation days to come here and record. And if you're doing that, like I want to do my best to be like, you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Let's have a good time.
Yeah.
You know, let's have a
We're
good
all
time.
gonna
Let's
hang out.
relax. Yeah. Yeah, like, you know, I want you to relax. I want you to feel good about this thing, and I don't want you, you know, stressing over it.
That,
so
like,
I think those are. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say that reminded me, like, because we were talking about like the songs that we were gonna do there, because like beginning of January, when we were, I thought, pretty sure, supposed to be going there to record and everything. We were just gonna do 2 songs. I was like, yeah, we're just gonna do 2 songs. You know, 2 days should be enough for 2 songs. For like that weekend, whatever. I think like yesterday I was thinking like we could probably squeeze in one more if we really tried. You know, we could probably squeeze in another one. But now I'm like, if we could, that'd be cool. But I'm gonna play it safe and be like, we have the time to get these 2 polished really well, so let's just focus on those.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, so I think those are like really good things that you can do to prep yourself for the studio.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
Work on a click track, be humble, and kind of over budget.
Yeah,
even though that's never the fun topic. Nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah,
money.
it's the nature of it is like it's gonna suck, but like, hey, like these things cost money, and like they're gonna sound great, but they're also gonna cost a lot. You know, you're paying for the quality of the product that you want, so it's gonna be costly. It's like that saying. I always think like. It's like that saying, like, for tattoos, it's like, good tattoos aren't cheap, and cheap tattoos aren't good. And I'm like, yeah, you can apply that to a lot of things.
100%. Yeah, and I think you've got one opportunity to put out your music. You know, once the song's written and recorded and out, and, like, you know, that's it.
Yeah.
So if you put something out, and then you look at it, and you're like, I didn't really care for it, I didn't like it, well, I don't know, you know, you could have just spend a little more time.
Yeah.
Did what you wanted, you know, did what you like. And then, you know, because, I mean, 20 years, you're still going to have access to this.
Yeah.
You know, like it's probably not going
internet.
away.
Everything is on the internet forever.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
So I think you and I talked about it a little bit because I feel like every time I hang out with you in person, like at the studio, I always ask like a bunch of studio questions. But one thing that like
I love it.
I will have many questions every time I am near you, so don't be worried about that. Good.
Good.
I think I've asked you this before, but like you've shared some like studio stories. Like, have you had any like? I know that you've had like a few like I guess like wild like studio stories, but like
I'm sorry. I know some people will swear by this, but not once have I ever been around someone who has done something better in the studio because of some kind of consumption.
That's fair.
Usually they think, oh my gosh, I'm so much better now.
This sounds great.
And you're like, no, not even close. Not even close. So like, yeah, I think the overconsumption of drugs and alcohol is a challenge, and dude, especially now with Elliot around.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like, I'm not about it.
Yeah,
like I've got a baby here, and it's it's not something that I really want to invite onto my property and into my home.
Yeah,
you know?
that's pretty basic. Like a what's the word? Like I feel like that's like a pretty basic request for like respect and everything. It's like, hey,
yeah.
Like, I know you're here to hang out, like, we're all having fun and everything, but, like, this is still my business and my home. Like, this is a rule and a boundary that I have. Don't cross it, kind of thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And, like, I'm never insulting or trying to be, like, rude about it. And like I said, like, I don't care if people drink here. You know? Like, as long as you're plus 21 and it's not illegal, I don't care. You know, you can sit and have a beer or whatever, and as if you're just like having a good time, like, fine. But once it starts to be like really affecting,
when it's like really noticeable and it's affecting everyone else, then it becomes an issue.
Then I'm like, and anyways.
No, I gotcha. Yeah.
I've only kicked out. I've only stopped working with one person ever. And it was just like really, really unhealthy, and there was a lot of like I said, hey, you booked Wednesday, Thursday, and Wednesday comes and no call, no show. So then I text the person. I'm like, where are you at? They said, just tomorrow, or Thursday. And I said, no, you literally booked Wednesday, Thursday, and they were like, nope, didn't do that. And then I sent a screenshot of of the text that said, yeah, we'll do Wednesday, Thursday. And then this person was like, oh, well, I'm not doing that. I'm coming tomorrow. And I was like, no, you're not. I literally was just like, nope, sorry, dog, but we're not doing this. We're not like, I'm not, like, you respect my time. I respect your time. Like, I feel like I understand that being in the studio on an hourly basis, like, costs money. So I'm very respectful when it comes to that. Like, I usually work 10-hour days until the new year. I'm cutting down to 8 hours just because it's baby and so on and so forth. But like, I usually don't take a lunch or dinner. Like, I'll sit and I'll eat food while working and whatnot. Like, like, I'm respectful of your time, so don't no call, no show me.
Yeah, like I was gonna say, like, if it is something like, oh hey, like something came up, or like I actually found out that I can't afford to do both days or whatever, at least like communicate that and just be like, oh hey, so like I know it sucks, but like I can't do it anymore. Yeah. Like, instead of just being like, nope, I didn't say that. Oh, I actually did. Well, I'm still not. Like, that's just disrespectful.
Yeah. I had a band cancel 5 days in a row the night before at like 10 o'clock. And they've never reached back out to me, but honestly, if they did, I'm gonna be like, you're paying me 100% before you come in, or this isn't happening. Yeah, because like, you can't do that to people. Yeah, that's not like, okay. That's and that was around Christmas time, so that's like, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was talking to somebody about like Christmas presents today. Or no, I was like, oh, did you like? Because I think someone, I thought somebody like bought a shirt or whatever, and I was like, oh, did you buy a shirt from the show the other day, like yesterday? And they were like, no, I didn't. I plan too soon though, but Christmas is coming up, and I was like, oh no, trust me, I get it. Like, I've bought one thing for Evie so far, and I'm like, I'm already stressed.
Yeah, and that's nature of what it is, and like I understand finances, and which is why I don't like, I hate the conversation too. Like, I don't want to tell people you spend you need to spend money. Like, it's tough when somebody asks like, hey, how can I get a better guitar tone? And you know what the answer is? Spend money.
9 times out of 10 it's going to be spend money.
I'm sorry. So, and I hate being that guy. I really do. Unless somebody comes to me and is like, yo, I got money, I'm willing to buy stuff. Let's have, let's
have a conversation
and whatever, like, absolutely. But, I know that's people got bills and lives and things to, things to pay for, especially if you have a kid. Let me tell you, diapers aren't cheap.
Yeah. There's a formula shortage and everything. Yeah.
So I hate being that guy that says, spend more money. But
any conversation with money is just going to be awkward.
Just the reality situation. Like, sometimes if you want X, you gotta pay for it. So and that works for everything else. Like, whether if you want higher quality, whatever it is, you usually pay for it.
Yeah.
If you go to like a luxury like coffee shop, it's $5-6 a drink. You go to Dunkin', it's $3. Like,
Didn't
it's
Sarah
nicer
used to
coffee,
work at
it's more expensive.
Didn't Sarah used to work at a coffee shop? I remember
Sarah's
like
huge into coffee.
Nice. I love that.
Huge into coffee.
I remember first time
we frequent coffee shops.
I remember the first time I think I went with you, like before we went to the studio, we stopped there to get like breakfast sandwiches and coffee and stuff like that. And you were like, yeah, we're going to stop at the one that Sarah works at so I can say hi to her. I was like, oh, that's cute, cool. And then we got there, and I think I made the joke about like, I was like, yo, you should ask her out. I don't know. We were just being silly. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I was like, hey, I
remember
think she
that.
likes you or something. I don't know.
I'll be like, dude, that girl's kind of cute. You think I should ask her out?
I think she's into you, bro.
So that was part 1 of the 2-part series, I guess, series? Part 2 is coming soon. That was part 1. I don't know what I'm doing. Next episode will probably be about as long, but very insightful. Very fun episode. Thanks for watching and listening and everything, and I hope you enjoyed it. So we'll be back sometime, maybe next week. Who knows? When you hear this, it's probably 2024. So thanks, and hopefully you stick around for the next episode. Okay. Thanks. Okay, bye. See ya. So long. Farewell. Nothing is real.